always, always, always wonderful to have your company.
It certainly is. And, we're having I've actually got on today. I couldn't get on last week. So I reached out and I was told how to fix it. And that's about what our show's about today.
Yeah, that's right. So when appearances become deceptive, reaching out really also becomes essential. So what does that mean? And I would feel very confident in saying there isn't an adult person, or probably a child over the age of 5 or 6, who pretend everything's okay when it's not.
Yeah.
And when people say, how are you? We say we're fine. And when we're struggling, we put a lid on it and we just get on with it and we try harder. And it becomes a very difficult cycle to break out of if we don't do something about it.
That's right. We see it as a self-defense mechanism. And I think this is part of the situation when we do this. Rather than reaching out, we shut down. Just put a lid on it all and it'll go away. But that's not how to deal with it. We need to reach out because we have so many tools and we have so many things that can assist us at times like that.
Exactly right. And we do hope things go away, but of course they never do. And what happens is after a period of time, especially if we start this process of putting a lid on things and pedaling madly under the surface while we seem to be serenely, floating along the surface of life's river, what happens is that we actually lose the conscious thread of where it all began. So when we become adults and we become so used to this way of doing things and being, we then have to work our way back. And that is a big process. So the earlier we start and the earlier we recognize what we're doing, the better off we're going to be. Hey, Caroline.
It's exactly, because otherwise we just find ourselves going deeper and deeper. Our feet are paddling away madly under the surface. And people look at us and they say, oh, they've got everything together and, nothing is a problem to them, because that's the facade that we put up. And that facade is just not doing us any support at all. And what we need to realise, we have so much support out there, not only from the angels and spirit, but it's amazing when you stop and you look around at people who are here to help us. And we can draw on tools that we've learned from in the past. They're all there.
Absolutely. So there are a couple of things that have come to me today to share with you guys. And one of those things is, so what happens when we don't actually have anyone that we can reach out to, or we don't feel or believe that we have anyone that we can reach out to? And that can be for a number of reasons. So let's just say maybe that you don't have a close circle of friends or family that you communicate well with, or perhaps you are actually on your own and you don't have friends with you, and maybe you don't even have family at all. So, Caroline, let's talk about a couple of the ways that we can support people who might be in that situation.
Okay, so we're always here because as we say to you, you can leave your comments in what you want to talk about in the comments below. But we're both available for you to reach out to, other than that, and on the show. And you can also contact us privately on Messenger or something like that, because what is so important at this time, and Anaya and I were discussing this before, that we think that, well, we know that when we were having our COVID lockdowns, we shut down. So we couldn't go out and see people. And so we just shut down and had our own little circle of me, myself and I. And so me, myself and I sometimes went round and around in circles and didn't necessarily get anywhere. And really all I had to do was to pick up a telephone or to go on and send a message from Messenger. Or, there's so many things. And really and truly, these are times that I believe also that we need to listen to our intuition. What's our gut telling us to do? What do we feel that we need to do? And we have so much support from the spirit world, from the angels, from the dragons and the elementals and everything like that. And when I was in hospital just briefly, well, it wasn't there just briefly, but I'll just tell you this tiny little story. But when I was in hospital with my heart problem, I felt very alone because nobody could come and visit me, and nobody could come and do any of the normal things that people do when you're in hospital, especially for something as severe as that. And because I'm in contact with the elementals and with nature, I became good friends with a tree that was outside my window. And that tree and I would chat every day. So nature is such a wonderful support for all of us. It's just another one of the tools that we have when we stop and we think about it.
So true. And I know many of you will already know this, but, you know, one of my greatest support systems are the angelic beings. I honestly don't, I'll say this with hand on heart, I'm not sure that I would actually still be here if the angels hadn't stepped in many, many years ago. And of course, at that time, I didn't realize it was the angels. It was only later, upon reflection, that I could see the angels and archangels and Mother Mary too, stepping in to support me and to get me through what were extremely difficult times for me as a teenager. And I do hear from others that, you know, there's so many of us who feel this way, aren't there? There's so many of us who go through really trying, desperately trying times. And we know that it actually isn't an easy process.
No, it's
Here's
not.
the other thing we know, Carolyn, and we know this for sure, don't we? That your soul has so much more strength than your mind or your body will lead you to believe. Nobody signs up for the toughest, let's call them assignments for want of a better word, because I feel like that, for the toughest assignments without a great deal of strength, purpose, and soul power, they're saying. It's a soul power. So when you're struggling and you're thinking, how in God's name do I get through this? And why is so much happening to me? What have I done to deserve it? It's not that you've done anything to deserve it. It's that your strength, your soul has chosen to come back and sometimes do more than one assignment, more than one lifetime experience. So that takes a pretty strong soul, a very strong soul to do that, to choose that freely and willingly.
And if you're here at this time, that's exactly what you've got, because, you know, these are really interesting times that we're in at the moment. And something I just want to add here. So Anaya and I have known each other for a long, long time. And then various things happened, and so we went on separate ways. And Anaya has this amazing relationship with the angels. And my relationship grew with spirit and all of my spirit guides and all of the spiritual realm. And then that then led me also into the elementals and everything. And why I'm saying that is that I draw on the angels and the angelic realm as well. So we have such an amazing team out there to support us because they know what we've signed up for in this lifetime. And, you know, some days when it gets really hard, you think, why would I have agreed to do this? But then you stop and you think, okay, well, that means I can do it. And what I try to do then, if I'm in a really one of those places, is I express my gratitude for the opportunity to be here at this amazing time on planet Earth, knowing we're all meant to be here. It's no coincidence, it's no accident that we're all here at this time.
Absolutely. Hallelujah to that. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools I know of. I mean that quite sincerely. Gratitude is not a word. Gratitude is an energy. Gratitude is a transformational frequency that we have encapsulated in a word to express what it is.
Yeah.
But when you take the word away and get to the energy, it is just incredible. The heights it can lift us, even from the deepest of despair. And that can be a very tall order indeed. Because when we're in that despair, sometimes we have absolutely no clue which way is up, no clue which way is out, and no clue whatsoever about how we are ever going to feel all right again, how we're ever going to feel whole again. So, we want to recognize that for you, for ourselves, because it's very powerful.
Yeah.
So this transformational energy is nothing new. We know that, but it's easy to forget to use it, Carol Ann. It's easy to forget if you imagine it as a gold. They're showing it to me right now as this incredible golden stream, and it's full of light beings. And it's almost like not as thick as honey, but viscous. And it just moves and rolls and bubbles. And if we place our cares and our worries on that stream and allow it to gently take it away, and it might take a long time. This may not be a quick process for us.
No.
But allowing it, and placing it with tender care, they're saying. It's not to throw things and say, I'm done with you, even though you probably feel that way. That's it, I'm done. But it's a placing with gratitude. I may not understand what this has been about. I may not understand why I chose this. I may not understand ever. But I am willing to have even the tiniest speck of gratitude. That will find its way into your heart, and it will grow, and it will prosper, and it will lift you up in times that you least expect it and surprise you with its magnificence. It's how it works.
Definitely. Yeah. No, it's very easy to say the attitude of gratitude, but the attitude of gratitude is just beautiful when we step into that place. And we don't, as Renee was saying, we don't always understand why things have happened and what is the reason for them. But by expressing our gratitude for them, then sometimes we're shown the reason, but we're not always shown the reason. So it's accepting and moving on, not letting it weigh you down. I know sometimes if I'm feeling a bit weighed down, I'll get in the shower and I'll just wash. Imagine the water. It's not exactly the same as the beautiful golden honey, but that's another easy way of doing it. But I love the idea of the honey because I love the bees and I love the honey.
Yes. And it just goes to show as the bees go from flower to flower, collecting all that, it's not pollen, collecting all that pollen, tiny little specks, tiny little fragments. This is how it works.
Yeah.
It all comes together. We just keep going. Just have a speck, a fragment. It doesn't matter whether it's fleeting. You've had it, you've got it, and it will never, ever leave you if you continue to help it grow, to love it into being. This, to me, is part of the generosity of the unconditional love that exists for us. Yeah.
And another thing, just thinking about bees, what they showed to me was the bees are a community. The bees all work together. They all have their roles and they all work together. And they form the little hexagons to put the honey in. And then when that's full of honey, then they seal it off. But if the weather is not good, they'll use that honey to survive. And the bees keep their hive at a 35-degree temperature all the time. But they're a community. They each have their role. And I think that sometimes this is about us thinking about the community that works with us, our team, our angels, our guides. We're all part of a community, and we're all here to do our part, but work together for the goodness or the love and everything of the whole.
Oh, I love that, Carol Ann. I really love that. So what happens then? The angels were I was talking to the angels about this program. Okay, what would you like us to share today before we came on air? And actually, we didn't have the topic until 20 minutes before something like that for the show. And it happens that way a lot with us. And we know, we've learned, haven't we, Carol Ann, that we just have that faith. We go about our business and get sorted out instead of sitting there thinking, what are we going to talk about? What's the topic? What will assist people? We just let it go, and we know it will be presented. So I was saying, how do you know? A very important aspect of this is, how do you know who to reach out to and ask for help or tell what's going on in your life for support? How do you know? Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you will know. Say someone pops into your mind. You think, oh, maybe I could talk to such and such. Think about that person and think about this. One of the ways you will always know if that is a safe person to share your deep stuff with is, do they tell you about other people's deep stuff? Do they bring it up in conversation? Because what we're wanting here, we're wanting to speak to someone in a way that's actually sacred, that we know goes like in the sacred pool. So if someone is always chatting about somebody else's business, then that is not the person you want to share your business with. That's the person you might want to share a cuppa with, maybe go to a movie with or whatever. But when it's at this tender time, this time of deep longing and need, it's important that you're choosing someone who, I'm going to use the word worthy. Someone is worthy of this honor. Someone who is worthy of what you are about to bestow.
Yeah, because, you're going to be sharing with them something that's deep within your heart and within your soul. And what you want is the person who is going to trust and honor that situation. And sometimes you might need to have several conversations, and sometimes you might just need to sit down, speak to them about what the situation is, and then receive their message or their help with love, because that's important too, because we need to be not only speak and share the love, but we need to be receptive to receive the love back. And I think sometimes that we misjudge ourselves as much as anybody else, because we'll think, oh, I'm just being silly. It's not anything to worry somebody else about. It's just me. It's not important. But if you have had that situation come up that is disturbing you, it is important. It is important for you to sit down and talk to somebody who you trust. And it might be someone you're not even really close to. But if they've popped into your mind, you've gone into your heart and your gut and your soul and your intuition, and if it feels right, then approach them. Because, then you know that the angels and your guides are sending you a message that they're the person that you need to share this with. Because, let's face it, they know the whole situation, our guides and angels. They know everything that's going on, even though we only know a little tiny minute bit. So you have so much when you listen to your gut and your intuition. They will get the messages to you.
So true. The other thing too I want to mention here is if you're the person who someone reaches out to, it's a very natural thing to want to help them, like really help them and maybe give advice. Sometimes it's more important though to simply listen. Don't try and fix anyone or anything. Just listen. And then if that person says, what do you think? What do you think I should do? Then you can start to have a conversation. And if someone asks me, what do you, and because a lot of people ask me, what do you think I should do, Anaya? My first response is always, how do you feel is the best way forward for you? Because it's not about a thinking process. And I want to hand the power back to the person. If that person comes back to me and says, I have no idea, then I might suggest things about talking to the angels. Not everyone believes in angels, and that's okay. But if you're on this program, if you're listening to Angel Heart Radio, you believe in something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So bring it back that way. For example, my young grandson, Bailey, has now shared with me he doesn't believe in angels, doesn't believe in God. He believes in spirit. I'm sorry, in science. Spirits, more always in spirit. He believes in science. And my first instinct was to try and steer him back. Right? You know what I mean, Carol Ann? And what I've had to realize was that is not my role here. My role is to honor. He says, if I can touch it, if science can prove it, my role is to support him in that.
Yes. And I think
give him that unconditional support.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new thing for him to be sharing with me. And it was interesting because I don't know where he got it from, because he was talking about he doesn't, it's not a religious thing for him. So I don't even know where that came from. So it tells me that he's been hearing lots of different things and he's bringing them into his world and working out how he feels about them. And he's 9 years old. He's got a long time to work this stuff out for himself.
Yeah.
So just, oh God, love you, Gabby. She said, wish you were my grandma. I'll be your Gabby. I'll be your grandma, Gabby. I will. I'll be your honorary grandma. So how do we then, it's the same way, whether it's a neighbor, a friend, a brother, a sister, a relative, a stranger you've just met. It's so important to just hold some space. How do we do that, Carol Ann, for people?
We do that by respecting and honouring them, their thoughts and their ideas. Because if we were all the same and had all of the same thoughts and the same ideas, it'd be a jolly boring world. And so we need to think about the fact that different people are here for different purposes. We're not all here for exactly the same purpose. And so we need to honour and respect that. I know all about people who are, believe it's science, it's true, it's a fact, then I'll believe it. So, and that's fine and good. That doesn't mean we don't love them any less. And in some ways you might love them. Wow, isn't that exciting that they have their own, they're strong enough to have their own individual ideas and thoughts. And then we can work within those with them. It doesn't mean we're not there with them forever. It's about respecting and trusting their beliefs and honouring them, because it's not our job to rescue everybody and say, you don't believe in the angels, we've got to do something to rescue you. That's not what it's all about. So, it's not our job to rescue anybody. So, and that's an important thing if someone comes to you to talk to you about a situation. It's not your job to rescue them. It's your job, if they've asked you to help them and to support them, to love them. And sometimes really that's all somebody needs is to be listened to and to feel that they're safe, they're loved, and I can get on with life. That sometimes is all they need.
And there's one last point I'd like to make today, and that is when someone comes to you, or if you go to someone and say you've had, an argument with a partner or a boss or a friend or a family member or whatever it is, and you have a big blur, and you just that done over it and you just lay it all out on the table. It's important to remember that that is a moment in time. That is not the truth. One of the most important things is don't carry this over. Every time you see that person, don't look at them as someone who doesn't have a good relationship, for example.
Yeah.
All relationships, every single relationship ever, there are going to be these times and these moments and these weeks and sometimes these months. Sometimes it's just moments.
Yeah.
So to have that trust and have that, I've experienced this where I've had such trust in someone and it's been so deeply rewarded when they've let that go and understood that was just a moment. It wasn't the truth of my whole life.
No.
You know?
It's just a little infinitesimal, that's a big word, speck in the world and time. And if we let it go, then it's not weighing us down. Because if we hang on to it, it's going to weigh us down and it's going to grow, it's going to get bigger and it's going to be harder to work through and to let it go. Because we need to let it go in the long run. We can't hang on to it forever.
Oh, that's right. And if we do, it becomes that heavy, it drags us down, weighs us down, and then starts to change our own perception of ourselves.
Yeah.
Gabby says everyone has their own journey. And as you say, we need to honour, support and respect that. And I think that's very well put, Gabby, because we're not always going to agree with it could be anyone in our life with the path they've chosen to take. But I tell you what I learned, and I learned this from my wonderful parents. Honestly, they were so messed up in so many ways, those people, like everybody else's parents. But I tell you what they did teach me. They taught me it is okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
It's not going to be forever. We will always be here. They never said any of this. This was all in their actions. We will always, particularly Dad, because I moved continuously when I was in my 20s. I moved 22 times in 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
22 times in 2 years. I had itchy feet. I couldn't settle in it because my dad was in the Air Force. We were always moving. And I'd be, I just always wanted to be on the go. And I can remember I'd ring Dad up and I'd say, Dad, I'm moving this weekend. Can you come move me? He never once said to me, no, or that's not enough notice. And he lived over 2 hours drive away.
Yeah.
And he'd turn up with that trailer. God bless him. Every single time he would load me up, move me and unload me. And he never complained.
No.
And it took me a long time to understand that was his love language.
Yeah.
Because he didn't ever say to me, well, actually he did, but not in the way that I could understand at the time. He wasn't a man to come up and just say, I love you in those days. He became that man. But learn to see someone's love language. What is it? Because I'll bet you that they're telling you they love you in ways that you may not be recognizing.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And when we think about our parents and what the world was like when they grew up, and then what the world is like for us growing up, and then we think about our grandchildren and what the world is like for them, and it's just such an exciting time to be here. I just think it's wonderful that we're here at this time, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's whatever it is, we can do it. We can handle it. If I'm sort of sometimes think I'm like that little engine caboose going up the hill. I think I know I can, and whoosh, and I'm down the other side. I just love that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It really is wonderful.
Mm,
So, you know, deception is a big word, but we are often deceiving ourselves and others,
mhm.
not because we are telling lies, though we actually are, when we tell ourselves that we're okay when we're dang well not, and we know we're not.
Mhm.
Um, but deception and deceptiveness are all linked up together, obviously. This time of bearing light on the planet, of anchoring light, of being a light bearer, a pillar for light to anchor in on the planet and to lift us up.
Yeah.
This time, because we've signed up to do this, everything that's not working is going to be revealed.
Yeah.
Every single thing, relationships, behaviors, as many of you know. Oh, I got the moon boot off. Woohoo! I broke my foot 6.5 weeks ago because I just would not listen to my inner voice.
Mm.
So it's all really being shown in very strong ways now, isn't it, Carol Ann? It's no longer just the feather. Tap, tap, tap on the shoulder. Come on, you
No, no,
gorgeous
no,
thing.
no,
You
no.
can do it. Now it's
Mm.
going, you know what? There's a feather, the brick, and the truck. Which one do you want? It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you like, you can have.
Yeah.
So that
Because
was my brick. I'm not going for the truck.
no. So, you stop and think about that this little thing is, it's like the pearl, the little grain of sand in the oyster, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not as beautiful as a pearl. But if we don't deal with it, and everything that hasn't been dealt with has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with in not now, in the near future, because
Mhm.
that's what's happening as we're moving forward with our ascension.
Exactly.
It's coming up to be healed. And if we don't heal it, it goes back under, it comes along a bit further and it gets nastier, and then it comes up again. So, think about it and heal it, and contact someone, talk to someone, listen to your intuition, listen to your guts. Look for the messages that the angels are leaving you and your spirit guides are leaving for you.
Yeah. So constantly reach out and reach in, because they're
Yeah.
both linked. If we're not, there's a difference between reaching out and not reaching in, and reaching out and reaching in. When we're reaching out and not reaching in, we're disconnected from our own self, from our heart energy. When we have both of those, we then find a deeper and greater balance. And as many of you will know, there's a big difference between, maybe you've got a friend that you can talk to, but they're all about the negative aspects. Or you might have a friend who will listen to you and honor you, but doesn't get involved in, oh, I can't believe they did that. Oh, you know that energy, because that'll just keep dragging you back down.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really grateful and honored, Carol Ann, that you are one of those people for me. You listen to me, you love me unconditionally, you let me say whatever I need to say, but you will always offer me that space to just let it go.
Yeah.
You
And
never try and force me.
that's a two-way street. And I think that, this is why, yes, we drifted apart, but now we've come back together again, because this is part of our journey, our contract. And to have somebody like I'm for Anaya and Anaya is for me, we're just very blessed. And the reality of it is we all have someone like that. We may not have found them yet, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about listening to your gut and allowing the messages to come in, because it's so important that we allow the messages from angels, from guides. Go out for a walk in nature, go out amongst the trees. It's just beautiful, the energy then that comes from out of there. And sometimes you can just leave the energy, anything negative out there, and it'll go up and it'll be transmuted into love. So It's all good.
All good. Gabby shares, I have one of those. I can be my ugly, authentic self.
Yeah.
And she provides loving space and I for her. Very blessed. And that's so true. So I'm feeling now, Caroline, to end the show. I'm just feeling like we might do just a very short process with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go visit that beautiful stream.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You're going to take us out to the stream?
let's go to the stream, everyone, the golden stream. So wherever you are, unless you are driving or doing something that requires your full attention, you can come back to this. Now is not the time for you, but for everybody else, let's take a breath. You are already protected, right? But firstly, just ground your energy into Mother Earth. Imagine your energy just coming down deeply into Mother Earth. That beautiful, receptive energy that just holds you and keeps you feeling like you're on a solid foundation, because you are. And take a breath. Breathe up all that strength. Let it come up into your body. Can you feel that? I can feel that in my belly. Give thanks for that. Give gratitude for that. Now, let's go to the stream. Just notice how suddenly, as if by magic, you're standing on the softest carpet of beautiful green. And this carpet greets you and brings you into this deep feeling of connection. Notice your feet in this velvety green grass, and you know suddenly which way to walk, which way to move. You just move toward that direction that you're being called to move in. And you begin to notice that you can hear a sound. It's a beautiful tinkling sound, as if bubbles were singing. And the sound draws you forward and calls your name and invites you to the golden stream of deep love and connection, and a safe place to lay your burdens. And as you make your way, you begin to feel the ground change underneath your feet. It becomes almost like soft feathers. It's so soft, a little bit bouncy. Just keep going until you find yourself at the edge of the stream. This place has been prepared for you in honor of you. Allow yourself to simply sink down to your knees and then sit down. And take a moment to unburden yourself in this sacred place. Whatever's heavy in your heart, just place upon the waters. And notice that they begin to gently, gently move away from you. And as you watch them move away, you see a light at the end of this stream, growing brighter and brighter. And two beautiful archangels manifest before you and welcome your burdens with tenderness, with love and kindness. and they gather them up and hold them in their arms, just as if they were a newborn baby. And they take them to their heart. And before your very eyes, your burdens, which were once so heavy and so desperately sad, begin to simply disappear and become white, white, white light. And as the archangels take their hands away from their hearts, they reach out for you and invite you to be held in their tenderness and care. And if you'd like to step in, just step in and feel their love and their embrace. And give your thanks. Feel their strength as your strength. Feel their love and acceptance as your love and acceptance. And when you're ready, simply move back to your spot on the side of the stream. Just notice how you're feeling. And know you can come back any time at all. Any time you wish to unburden yourself, to lay down your worries or your fears or your sadness, and they'll always be there for you waiting. And with renewed purpose and strength, stand up and begin to walk back to the place where this all started. And when you're ready, simply open your eyes and welcome back.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Gosh, that was lovely.
Mm.
So I'm going to put that up on my website, angellight777.com, so you can get a copy of that for yourself if you would like. And of course, it'll always be on this recording as well. That was beautiful. I just feel good.
I just feel good as well. I feel lovely and relaxed. That was beautiful.
Gabby says that was emotional for her, but so empowering. Belinda says she feels light. Thank you.
I saw the fairies there at the stream too. Fairies.
Sorry, darling?
Fairies were dancing at the stream.
Love that. I do love that. Well, I'm so grateful, angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And I love the fact that when we go to these places, it reminds us that they actually exist out of time, out of space, but in the truth of the unconditional love that is there for us no matter what. Yeah.
Yes, we're very blessed.
Yes, we are. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. And please reach out if there's anything we can do to support you, as Carol Ann said earlier.
And if there's anything that you would like us to talk about on the show, just put it in the comments and let us know.
Yep,
and
we'll do that. We'd love to do that. We'd love to.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Thank you, Renee. It was lovely to be here.
Thank
Now,
you, Karen.
So,
and lots of love, everyone. And take good care of yourself. And remember that you matter far more than you have any idea of. Far more. Lots of love. Bye, everyone. See you.